Okay. Um, Hello everyone, I'm Erin Glenn. Welcome to the Sassy Lass Craft Room, and I realize that I'm filming this at kind of an odd angle, but I'm trying to avoid there being very much glare on my glasses right now. So I am gonna make this quick because it's not cold enough for the mosquitoes to just go away yet. So, all right, so I am participating in this month's 5 Under 5. If that's where you found me and you haven't visited me before, then welcome. If you've been with me before, then welcome back. We'll talk a little bit more about the playlist here in a little bit, but this month is, well, every month, it's 5 projects under $5. This month is Farmhouse Christmas. So I went, I guess you could say, a little more specific. So it's not just farmhouse in general. I kind of went with also kind of a retro kind of theme because that's a lot of what I got going on in my house anyway, especially around the holidays. So I have all my projects, mosquitoes, all my projects are red and white, kind of have a retro kind of vibe to them, and I really hope you enjoy them. Let's get to it. This is a problem, guys. I have 3 kids. I can't find one of these things. Oh dear. Anyway, spray paint. And I am going to use the beads. I think. They'll just be a different color. All right. Okay, so this was my first attempt. I was trying to go for like an enamel kind of look. And, that was old. It didn't look like chipped enamel. It just looked like a kid painted it. So, here's my second one. So, y'all, I'm down to 1. I'm gonna have to figure this out, how I'm gonna get these done for all 3 children. Anyway, so I found this on Cricut Design Space. So this is a very paint heavy and Cricut heavy video. So I just put that in the center, and then I am going to go around with paint again, attempting to do a better job. So this time I didn't just, freehand it. I used tape on one side. I didn't want it to be perfect. I still want it to have that, it's an enamel piece, and, it's a little old, but I didn't want it to look the way the other one did. So as I'm painting, I'll tell you what exactly I'm going to do with it. So, like I said, I have 3 kids, so I do eventually need to do 3 of these, but, for the video, and because I don't have all the materials, you're only seeing 1. So these are going to go on their doors, and it's going to be like Christmas mail. So, we have the elf on the shelf that comes and visits us every single year, and then obviously Santa does. So, our letters to Santa and letters to Snowflake. That's the elf that comes to visit us, and she writes letters back sometimes. So all that stuff is going to go in here, and that's going to hang on their doors. So I just thought that'd be fun little Christmas mail envelope. All right, and I guess they can get some letters from parents and stuff too. I don't know. Any Christmas related mail, I guess, is going to go in these. All right, so moving on with the painting. So I did use a piece of purple tape. It's a low tack tape. It's not painter's tape, but that's kind of what I'm using it for here. In that case, it only needed one side, but on the rest of it, I did only use one side because, like I said, I do want that kind of chipped enamel kind of look. I just didn't want it to be out of control. I did go around the entire exterior of this with the red paint as well. And this part I did kind of, have to completely freehand, and I did the best I could. I think it turned out okay. There are still some spots that I think it got a little out of control, a little bit more worn than I wanted it to look. All the rest of my pieces, I mean, they're retro, they're vintage inspired, but they look new. And so I didn't want this one to look too old, but I think it kind of did end out a little bit. All right, and I just thought this was hilarious. So I painted the orange bead. There were 2 white beads and 1 orange bead on that thing. And that is my, camera rig basically above my workstation. And I stuck it on a oh, what was that thing? Oh, it was from a fake flower that I, cut off the stem and painted it and then stuck it on that to dry. All right, so anyway, the white beads stayed as is. Here I am using a needle to get it through there. I used baker's twine. I wanted the red and white. I didn't want, um, regular natural looking twine. So I tied it and kind of looped it through so that the tied part is in the back. I wanted the front to look neat. And I did, originally it had, red, orange. No, it didn't. It did not. It had white, orange, white, and mine is white, red, white. So I threaded them on there, and I want to double knot the top so that they don't slide off in like storage. And that is how I'm going to hang it. And then here in a minute, I'm going to hot glue the knot down a little bit. So I kind of pulled and yanked it a little. And it was a little bit longer than I wanted it anyway, so this was fine. So I pulled and yanked it till it was the length I wanted, and till the knot was all the way in the back. And I hot glued that down, and then I do put some of that tape over the hot glued area as well to keep that kind of down and out of the way so that the front's just, it's just pretty. And that's that pretty much. So that was the envelopes from Dollar Tree, so $1.25, and paint and vinyl, and that little bit of baker's twine. So all in, this was probably just right around $2.50. I really do love how these turned out, and I cannot wait for the kids to get to use them this Christmas. Okay, so this one is a very easy, very quick, and very inexpensive project as well. I think the sled was only like 90 cents, and then it's just a little paint and vinyl from there. So there was a piece of it, I guess it was a sticker, and I couldn't just scrape it off with my fingers, so I used a sander, and it still kind of put up a fight. The price tag on the back, I'm really not too worried about. You're not going to see the back, and it's not a gift. Generally, I try and make sure the price is at least gone, but like I said, you're not going to see it, and it's not a gift. So I did take the twine off so that I could paint it, and it was kind of like tacked on there with a little staple or something too, so it was a little harder to get off than I thought it would be. So I decided I was going to paint the, I don't really know what you call it, blade, I don't know, whatever that is, black, and then the rest of it white. So I just very, very carefully did the black part first. I actually didn't make too big of a mess with the black, but now as you can see here, when I went over the white part, I did kind of get it in areas where I didn't want it. So I just took a little brush and some more black paint and went through and touched up all of those areas. And I just realized that I sound kind of hoarse and nasal this morning. Sorry, you guys. So I'm just finishing my touch-ups. I did seem to make quite a bit of a mess with the white paint, so I had quite a few touch-ups to do. I didn't really worry too much about what the back looked like because nobody's really going to see it. So it was somewhere around here that I started kind of regretting the black paint. I really kind of started to wonder if maybe red would have been better since my vinyl's going to be red, or even just kind of some browns and kind of make it look like a faux stain. I'm not really sure. So when it's finished, what would you guys have done? Would you have done the black? Would you have done red? Or would you have kind of tried to go with like a stained kind of wood look? So tell me in the comments what you guys would have done. Okay, so here is my sled all finished. And like I said, comment down below what color you would have done the blades or the bottom, whatever you call those things. And when you go to find it, or if you go to find it, I guess I should say, in my
Cricut profile, it is going to look a bit different because I had to chop it all up to get it to fit on there correctly. Because like I said, I had a lot of trouble filming this video. Okay, as I said earlier, I am participating in this month's 5 Under 5 Open Playlist. This is a DIY challenge for 5 projects under $5 a piece. It is hosted every single month by Missy from The Crafty Cove and Emily from Farm Charm Chic. These ladies are amazing. If you have not checked them out yet, you need to do so. And every month there is a guest host. This month it is, that's my boy, is Krista from Krista's Crafty Life, who is also awesome. And just be sure and watch the entire playlist because you're going to see some awesome Farmhouse Christmas challenges. Or not challenges, but projects.
Okay, it just really doesn't get any easier than this. I bought both of these things at Dollar General. The tobacco basket was $3. The little sign is $1. And I'm just going to put them together and make a cute little shelf sitter thing. All right, so that's what I'm going for there. I do want to be able to reuse the tobacco basket, so I really didn't want to hot glue it on there or anything that might be permanent. So what I decided to do was glue some baker's twine to the back of the little sign and just tie it on the tobacco basket so that the tobacco basket is completely unharmed. Since it's red, I can use it for Valentine's Day or 4th of July, or a lot of my decor is just red, so I can just, change that out. So I put those 2 little tumbling tower blocks down there to hopefully add it some stability. I know this is going to come as a shock, but it didn't work. But it all works out. All right, so I just flip it over, and you notice I crossed 2 different pieces of twine because I thought that would make it lay straighter, I guess, or hang straighter, I guess is the correct word. If I did it with 2 instead of just 1 back there, and I crisscrossed it on the back, and I still kind of fidget a little with those tumbling tower blocks, but they fell out as soon as I flipped it over, and then it started jiggling because it was loose because it had all that extra space in there, which really truly that was what I was expecting it to do, but it's okay. So I just take one of those tumbling tower blocks and I just shove it back there. So now it's nice and tight and it's really not going anywhere. So that's it. So that was $4 and there you have it. So easy, so cheap, so cute. That's how I like my crafts. Okay, so this little vase I got at Dollar General. It was in its spring collection. It was on clearance. It had like a monogram blue and white check thing on the front. And my original plan was for a whole other project. I was going to do the baking soda and paint technique on it. And things just didn't go well. So I scraped all of that off. And while I was scraping it off, the original monogram pattern that was on the front just came right off. So I was like, well, that's handy. So I decided I would just Farmhouse Christmas it up. So, and as I said in my intro, I'm going for kind of a retro Christmas, not just farmhouse, but, give it kind of a retro vibe. And Ticking Stripe and Santa are just farmhouse and retro. So that's what I did. I cut these stripes. It is Cricut vinyl, and I just cut the strips with my Cricut cutter, and then I found a Santa that I liked, and the most time-consuming part of this was to get that Santa to look exactly like I wanted it to. The original design was layered, and so I had to do some slicing to get this piece because I just wanted the outline. But you will be able to find it in my Cricut design profile thing. which you can find through my link tree. So, I did have some issues weeding him, mostly with the nose. So the nose looks a little different than it's going to if you are to look it up. Anyway, so I got my stripes. I got my Santa, which he probably is a little bit too big, but he fits just right. And as always, you pull the film back on itself. Wow, I really am just rambling. Anyway, when you're putting some vinyl on something, you just pull the vinyl, the transfer tape back on itself and just keep kind of pushing the vinyl down as you need to. Depending on where you're going to display something like this, you would want to seal it, but I don't know that I really need to. And I showed, a few seconds ago, or more than a few seconds, but I showed earlier, and I will show again, I think, that the back on the bottom didn't quite meet. This vase is ever so slightly tapered, which I didn't notice until I was doing this project. So I can just go in with some strips and fix that. Or, if you're like me, you just don't worry about the backside of projects and you just leave things as is. And in all honesty, that may be what I do, because if somebody comes over to my house and picks up everything and looks at the back, I'm going to view that as their issue, not mine. So let's see, cost-wise, I think that originally this was $6. It was on clearance. I paid $3 for this one, I think. I did go back and get another one later when it was like 90% off, so I only paid, 60 cents for that one. The vinyl, it's probably only around $1 or so of vinyl and that. So, probably right around, $4 for this one. Okay, so again, easy, cheap, cute. This one might end up being a gift, or I might keep it. I still haven't decided yet. Either way, it's going to get displayed. Alrighty, so this project, I started with this blank sign that I got at Dirt Cheap. I think I paid like $1.80 for it. And it has almost been probably about 6 different projects in the time that I've had it. But this time I actually committed, and I decided to go with this Christmas project for this video. So I started with the white paint, because, it's got to be white. Everything's red and white in this one. So I started with a white paint. It is Waverly chalk paint. I have to say that slowly, otherwise it does not come out right. Waverly chalk paint in white, and I did give it 2 coats. And I do wish that I had been a bit more careful, because you see I'm getting a lot on the edges there, or not a lot, but too much. And I just didn't think it'd be a problem, honestly. I was thinking like, yeah, I mean, it's white and it's on a light color wood. Like, how bad could it be? Well, I had to do 3 coats of the red paint to make sure I got that covered up. Anyway, I did hit it with the heat tool between coats. I did that also with the red. I used the heat tool a lot for this video because there was a lot of painting and a lot of waiting for paint to dry. And I usually am, relatively patient. Well, with some things. But I just wasn't. I just was not this time. So anyway, once that was nice and dry, I took some washi tape, and you noticed I was kind of running it along my fingers. I was kind of de-sticking it a little bit. I didn't want to pill up any paint. So I went around the edges, and then I take my little like Cricut blade, little X-Acto knife type thing, or craft knife, and get in those corners and get the extra bit up, so that I have like, perfect little corners, everything taped off nice and neat for when I go through and do my red paint. And my voice is getting a little crackly sounding. All right, so this is just, red paint from Apple Barrel. I think it's real red. I will, list my product, I will list the products that I use below, so I'll put for sure what exactly which red paint. Later, for the rest of the video, most of the rest of the video, I actually use Waverly chalk paint in crimson. And I really do like that red a bit better than this. So I go around the top and then kind of the interior part and hit that with my little heat tool before I go around the edges. It is easier for me to paint kind of in sections than to kind of paint everything at once and just, end up making a huge mess, which I still end up making a huge mess, even doing it in sections like this. Like I got a blob of it right there in the middle of my white. And of course I got some on that mat. So I let that dry a bit, and now I'm going around the outer edges. And you can kind of see, if you look down there, you can definitely see where I got white paint everywhere. It made quite a mess. So I ended up having to put 3 coats, and actually 4 coats in some areas. All right, so I found this Believe sentiment, or phrase, whatever, in Cricut Design Space. I did change it a little bit. I wanted it to have, it kind of has sort of a retro vibe already, a little farmhousey, retro-y kind of thing going on with the stars, but I wanted it to have more of one, so I put the other type of star, I guess. Just the lines with the dots, basically. So I did add some more of those. I also thought that it's because of it's supposed to look like slats, so there is little gaps in there on my sign. So I thought it would be easier if I actually cut up my image. So I took the Believe and the top portion of the stars and went through and put that down first, and then went through with most of the stars that went below Believe, below Believe, and just put those on by themselves. My transfer tape did actually tear, which is a little odd. All right, so here I am going through and putting all the rest of those. And so again, you are going to be able to find it in my Cricut Design Space profile. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, just click on my link tree. All right, so cost. $1.80 for the sign, and between the paint and the vinyl, maybe another $1. So, you're looking around $3. I just love red and white at Christmas, and it is, to me anyway, very farmhouse and also very retro. All right, guys, so that was it for my 5 projects under $5 for this month. And people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Hi. All right. So I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, and you're not already, I would love it if you would become a subscriber and hit that like button, share with anyone that you think might be interested. The glare is really bad. All right, okay, anyway. All right. And comments, questions, anything like that. If there's something you would like to see more of, or something that I do you would like to see less of, then let me know that in the comments as well. I'm glad you hung out with me for the past 25 or so minutes, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.